So here, just continuation of Proj's point. Just wanted to make add one more addition to it. That can we write commentary on Bhagavatam? I just want to just contribute something for that. It said that Srimad Bhagavatam, it is directly narrated by Krishna to Brahmaji, and then it is said that he did not stop there, Krishna. And when Brahma was speaking to Narada, it is not actually Brahma, it is Lord himself. He spoke through the mouth of Brahma. And Narada came to Vyasdev, Narada instruction Vyasdev. And there also, the moment Narada was reciting Bhagavatam, it is said that it is directly Krishna speaking. And further, it is Krishna speaking to Narada Muni, and Vyasdev, he further speaks to Sukadeva Goswami. It is Krishna only speaking. And Sukadeva Goswami, it's telling to Parikshit Maharaj, directly Krishna is speaking. And same thing, Sukadeva Goswami to Naimisharanya. And we can continue that safely, that logic, until the moment. And then when Prabhupada came to West, and Prabhupada also said, it's not me, it is Krishna himself writing. Unless somebody is at that level of direct connection with Krishna, there, and what Prabhupada says is that just seeing the purity of my heart and desire to convey this message, Krishna is speaking. And Prabhupada also, we can know this, before he reached America, he offered prayers to fulfill the mission and described in Bhagavad Dharma. So he says, how can I understand the word of Srimad Bhagavatam? The word of Srimad Bhagavatam perfectly pure, like all those people whose hearts are impure and covered with thick layer of Rajoguna and Tamoguna, how will they understand? And he prayed to Krishna, please help them to understand your message. And only you yourself can help them understand, and you can explain, and nobody can explain. So Prabhupada writes this. And this is one important. And one more thing is, Krishna, he this Bhagavatam is actually this is understood at the level of samadhi. So the language of Bhagavatam is samadhi. So until somebody at the level of samadhi, they cannot completely understand only Bhagavatam. This is that, because the language itself is samadhi. Parikshit Maharaj is complete samadhi of Krishna. Sukadeva was on complete samadhi of Krishna, and they are discussing. So that is the reason we cannot study Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam cannot be an object of study. Studying means you are looking it down. No, Bhagavatam is, we want mercy of Bhagavatam. So when we are reading Bhagavatam, we are just praying to Bhagavatam to give mercy. So when devotee was sharing that one Mataji, she was not able to understand some shlokas of Bhagavatam. Then and Bhagavad Gita. She said, I'm not understanding this. Then said, okay, what do? Keep Bhagavad Gita in the altar, and every day you worship. And after few days, 2-3 days, she said, now I am understanding. Because when you start having that approach that it is to be worshipped, it is to be respected, then Bhagavatam reveals itself. So this is how it happens. And same thing, like if you see any Bhagavad Saptas and all, they keep Bhagavatam and they worship. It's directly Krishna. Anyway, that we will be discussing. So just I wanted to add to that. This is Samadhi Bhashya. So it is not something which somebody can understand on its own. He should be at the level of Bhava or Prema to understand it. Then he can write a commentary. Of course, we also give our commentaries when we and read some shlokas, we are speaking. But that is for that particular place, that particular audience, that is a discussion. No, we are also discussing. It's also one way our purpose, but it is not at the level of Samadhi. So yeah, we will just okay. we'll just take questions. We'll just summarize of what. Okay, we'll take questions and then we'll. Yes, Krishna Pamatish. Mother Gail. Oh, sorry, Mother Gail.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Yes. Yeah, I was wondering, since you began by talking about why we cannot make our own commentary, right?
Yes, Mother.
Yeah, so, what I was hoping to ask during the class was, because Prabhu said that Lord Chaitanya said, you have to be mad like me, right? In love with Krishna. But, maybe we can check if the commentator has adhered to the Dashamula, and we can check whether they are in a bona fide disciplic succession. But how to properly check if a person is madly in love, because it's an internal experience, right? It's not something that we can really verify, of course we hear that, well, the person who's in love, they can't help but stop talking about Krishna and so on. But I still feel that because it's an internal experience, how can we really know that a person is mad like Lord Chaitanya in a bona fide way, So I was just wondering about that.
Yeah, so we cannot know, because by external symptoms we cannot know. It is basically the internal symptoms only. We can check with Prabhuji once what he says. This is, I have shared it. So maybe Prabhuji will share, he will continue this discussion tomorrow also. We can talk on that because this is a just side point.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, he did say we could ask at the beginning of class. I was just wondering if you had any thoughts about that.
Yeah, means I don't want to. We want to continue Prabhupada purpose. It will go a big distance.
Okay, no problem, Prabhu. No problem. Thank you for allowing me to ask.
Krishna Rupa Mataji.
Yeah, Roji, I didn't have a question, but I want to just thank you. I didn't really know this, that I knew that, Krishna is speaking through the mouth of Brahma, but I didn't know that when Narad Muni is coming and speaking to Vyasdev, that time also the Lord is speaking through Narad Muni. And sometimes we are not able to connect, but when we hear from devotees like yourself and His Grace Balram Shakti Prabhu, things become more clear. So I just wanted to thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Chandra Rekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my question is not directly to today's class, this one, but in continuation to the previous session, as a discussion is going on Bhagavad Gita as it is like this. So I just want to know, Prabhuji, what about this, as distribution month is also going, what about this what is that with Bhagavad Gita? Gorakhpur Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhuji, what is the difference in that? Because we face very much problems that they say we have this Gorakhpur Bhagavad Gita. So we can say that Das Mula Tattva is not included in their commentaries.
They are just having translations, Mataji. They don't have commentaries.
Okay, and other Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji, other Bhagavad Gitas, there are many other Bhagavad Gitas in India. So they are all like not including this Das Mula Tattva.
We may not know. Many of them may not be, there will be their own opinions. Some may be bona fide also, some may not. Unless we thoroughly know about the parampara, which from where the person is coming, who is speaking, we cannot know. And for
So how
Prabhupada,
we can
can
stress
clearly-
that Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is special, because this is the challenge we face. No? They say they have Bhagavad Gita. So some people, so how we always stress this as it is, as it is, as it is.
because it has
So what is the
transformed many people. When Prabhupada went to West, before Prabhupada, many Bhagavad Gitas were there. Many people read it, but it did not make much difference in people's life. But two things happened. When they read Bhagavad Gita, they wanted to see a person who is practicing Bhagavad Gita. So they could see Prabhupada in front of them. So they saw the sloka and they are seeing the example. So it became easy for people to accept and follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So somebody is writing, he should also follow. So Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita, he followed Bhagavad Gita. So even though many Bhagavad Gitas were there, they could not change many people. But when Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita went, they read Bhagavad Gita, they saw example in front of them, they said, okay, we can practice, it is applicable. So in that way, it helped them. And that is what we say, that this Bhagavad Gita is very helpful, because you can see an example, the person, Prabhupada, who followed it, and it is changing the lives of many people.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Thank you. So we will just Arpita Mati would like to summarize what we discussed last 2 days.
Hi Krishna. Uh, yes, Prabhuji, I will briefly just do this. So we last 2 days, first day we had discussed about this word to word meaning. I want to share the screen. One
Yeah.
second. So is this okay? Or should I zoom it?
Yeah, a little bit. You can increase the size.
Where do we zoom it from? Like,
If view, you can go and there it will get.
So actually, we had like Prabhuji, how Prabhuji had explained today, and he is explaining since last few days also in his introduction in his introduction session. And today he quoted this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna Tulya Bhagavat Vibhu Sarvashray Prati Shloke Prati Akshare Nana Arth Kay. So Shrimad Bhagavatam Prati Shloke Prati Akshare, it can have Nana Arth, various meanings it will have. And different acharyas of different sampradayas, they understand in different ways according to how it is revealed to them, how they because since they are mad in Krishna prema or Vishnu prema, they get certain revelations, and that's why they understand in different ways. But all the ways are right, because Supreme Lord is multifaceted, and similarly Bhagavatam is also like that. Prati shloke prati akshare, there are nana arth. There are many meanings. So mm, like that. So we will see in our sampradaya also different acharya, Shila Jiva Goswami and Shila Sanatan Goswami, Shila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Everyone is giving different explanations for all the shlokas, and even as Prabhuji had told that for this first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have 5 different explanations by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur only. So it's like one word can be explained in multiple ways, and all the ways can be bona fide if the translation is and the commentary is given by a bona fide acharya. So currently we are studying Srila Prabhupada's explanation. The first day when I had taken this word to word meaning and the translation, it was according to Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. So there are some very minor differences. So today I will just take Prabhupada's very briefly. So Prabhupada is saying that this Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, this is there, and this means as we saw that Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, as Prabhupada is saying that this in the first para of his purport, Prabhupada is taking this Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then he says that here Srila Vyasadeva is offering obeisances to Lord Vasudev. And who is Vasudev? So according to Srila Prabhupada, that Lord Vasudev is son of Vasudev and Devaki, Krishna himself. But in the first para, Prabhupada is telling this, that this Vasudev can also mean other forms of the Lord also, because ultimately all the forms of the Lord are identical in one way. They are non-different. So this is the first para. In the first para of which we saw yesterday, first para, Prabhupada is explaining that this Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he says that here Srila Vyasadeva is offering obeisances to Krishna, the son of Vasudev. And then he says that who says that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So Jiva Goswami says in Krishna Sandarbha, Brahma ji says in Brahm Samhita, Samved says it, and then Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, then Arjun accepts, then Narad, Vyas, Padma Puran. So many literatures are accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the first para which we saw yesterday, the explanation of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then this Janmadi Asya Yato, this is Prabhupada is explaining in the second and the third paragraph of his purport. So Janmadi Asya Yato. So Prabhupada has taken this and separately Janmadi Asya Yato. So what does this mean? This means who is the Janmadi? Janma means who is the cause of creation, destruction, maintenance of this universe. That Supreme Lord. So Vyasadeva is offering obeisances to that Supreme Lord who is the cause of the creation, maintenance and destruction of this material world. So second paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is saying that Krishna is the cause of all causes. And in the second paragraph, Srila Prabhupada also explains that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is calling Srimad Bhagavatam the spotless Purana. And we discussed yesterday that how is Srimad Bhagavatam the spotless Puran. So there were many reasons. Like first is it is speaking about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. So it is purely speaking about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, and its focus is purely on pure devotional service. So Srimad Bhagavatam is completely talking about pure devotional service. It is completely rejecting dharma, artha, kama, moksha, other things. All mundane things are rejected by Srimad Bhagavatam, whereas other Puranas, they don't reject, they don't give pure devotional service as the ultimate conclusion, but Bhagavatam does it. It dismisses, it discusses, it does not discuss about anything material. It is just focusing on pure devotional service. That's why Bhagavatam is spotless Puran. And then in the same second para, Prabhupada is talking about the history of Srimad Bhagavatam, that when was Srimad Bhagavatam written. So he says Srimad Bhagavatam was written when in the maturity of when oh Krishna, sorry. Srimad Bhagavatam was written in the maturity of Vyasadeva. When Vyasadeva had attained the maturity, that was the time when Srimad Bhagavatam was written. And then we had discussed the reasons that why Vyasadeva had to write so many books. Because actually he is the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord only. Then what is the need for him to write so many books? He can directly just could have written Srimad Bhagavatam. So we discussed the three reasons that actually people in this world, they have different adhikars and they have different levels of consciousness also. So Srila Vyasadeva wants to take everyone in the Vedic fold and he wants to give instructions to people according to their adhikars. So that is what scriptures do. They instruct people according to their levels of consciousness and their adhikar, so that they can gradually come up, they can gradually get elevated. And then the second reason was that if he would have just written Srimad Bhagavatam, then no one will uh, accept it. People will think that Srila Vyasdev just knows one thing. He does not know the any other thing. That's why he is ignorant of other things. That's why it is like Srila Vyasdev wrote this. And the third was that, because he has written Srimad Bhagavatam as the last work after completing all other books. So this also proves that how Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate this thing. And he wrote this after he got the instruction from his guru, Narad Muni. Uh, the importance of guru is also illustrated by this. So this is the second paragraph. And the third paragraph, if we see, here also Prabhupada is telling that how Lord Krishna is the origin of all creations, not only the creator, but the destroyer as well. And mm, uh, like this, he is explaining Krishna is creation, maintenance, and destruction, responsible for everything. Then he says this thing is the third paragraph. And then this fourth paragraph comes. In fourth paragraph, Krishna is talking. Sorry, Srila Vyasadeva is saying, Srila Prabhupada is saying that how Krishna is the chief amongst all living personalities. So there are so many living beings and all are individual living beings. But amongst all of them, Krishna is the chief. He has the supreme intelligence, he has the greatest intelligence, and he has many inconceivable energies of different varieties. So he is the Paratattva, he is the Parmeshwar. As Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita 7.7, Mata Parataram Nanyat, there is no truth superior to me. Similarly, Prabhupada is explaining in the fourth para of the purport that Krishna is the Paratattva and he is the Parmeshwar. He is the Ishwar of all Ishwar. He is the Parmeshwar. So, so this is done. So these four paragraphs we had covered yesterday. And in this four paragraphs, this Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya and Janmadi Asya Yato, these two parts have been covered. Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we'll continue further. Unscrupulous persons go immediately to the 10th canto and especially to the 5 chapters which describe the Lord's Rasa dance. This portion of Srimad Bhagavatam is most confidential part of this great literature unless one is thoroughly accomplished in the transcendental knowledge of Lord, one is sure to misunderstand the Lord's worshipable transcendental pastimes called Rasa dance and his loving affairs with the gopis. This subject matter is highly spiritual and only the liberated persons who have gradually attained to the stage of Paramahamsa can transcendentally relish this Rasa dance. Srila Vyasdev therefore gives the reader the chance to gradually develop spiritual realization before actually relishing the essence of the pastimes of the Lord. Therefore, he purposely invokes a Gayatri mantra, Dhimahi. This Gayatri mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people. When one is successful in chanting the Gayatri mantra, he can enter into the transcendental portion of the Lord. One must therefore acquire Brahminical qualities or be perfectly situated in the quality of goodness in order to chant the Gayatri mantra successfully and then attain to the stage of transcendentally realizing the Lord, his name, his fame, his qualities, and so on. So this para is very important. So it is basically telling that how the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is Rasa Panchadhyaya. Ultimately, what Vyasdev want us to reach is this highest level, the highest level of, you want us to understand the highest level, and that is, it is not possible if we are directly jumping there. We have to gradually progress. So what we discussed like yesterday, that there are so many misconceptions about what is the truth. and because of which we'll not be able to understand it thoroughly. So we need a great amount of purity of heart before we understand what is Srimad Bhagavatam. And even we were discussing that this is a miracle that we can meditate on absolute truth. So Satyam Param Dhimahi, that meditation is not something. So Dhimahi is that a person who meditates attains the supreme truth within his mind. So how is it possible? So how that limitless supreme is able to fit in our tiny minds? So Sukadeva Goswami and Vyasdev, they are telling because this is when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam from the right source, and we have to go very systematically. We cannot jump. Also, Supreme Lord is imprisoned in the heart of a pure devotee. So when he speaks, he can reveal that knowledge to us. And from his pure desire, he arises into, of course, from Lord. When within the heart, when a pure desire is arised, the Lord is there. So when we have a desire that, okay, I want to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, understand Bhagavatam. So we need a great, the purity of intention is very important. That's a very systematically, we cannot jump. We have to be very careful, very systematically. It should be our, it is actually a sadhana. And sadhana is very, very systematically organized we have to do. We cannot, inorganically, we cannot go. It should be very proper. And it is said that purity of heart is needed. And the preacher, the speaker, we have Prabhupada, his purity and our intention, and in that way. And it is said that very important that this absolute truth, we should have, like Prabhupada was telling, na, pramana. So there are different pramanas. So why we should know, there are 4 fundamental characteristics of supreme truth, which may be which makes it completely incomprehensible. So we cannot approach on our own. It is completely incomprehensible. So Jiva Goswami says in Tattva Sandarbha that the supreme truth, which is during his pastimes, Ras Panchadaya, it cannot be understood. Why? Because it is Sarvatita. Sarvatita means it is beyond our sense perception. And Sarvashraya, it's shelter of everything. And Sarva Achintya, so it is inconceivable. And Sarva Ashcharya Swabhava, absolutely amazing. It is completely mind-blowing. So with all these things, how can we just jump to Raspantya? We have to very, very systematically, very prayerful wood, then only we'll be able to approach this part. And then important, this thing is why it is Srimad Bhagavatam is called the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. This is also one of the reason it is given, that it is speaking, both have this Gayatri mantra. And if you see Vedanta Sutra, it starts with Atato Brahma Jignasa. And here Brahma Gayatri and Srimad Bhagavatam are interconnected. The whole spiritual world, Vaikunta, it is actually formed Gayatri mantra. It is revealed through Gayatri mantra. And Goloka is revealed through Hare Krishna Maha mantra. And both Srimad Bhagavatam and Vedanta Sutra, and as the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about absolute truth, Brahma, so Param Brahma. And if you see the Vedanta Sutra, the fundamental shlokas are also Atato Brahma Jignasa. It starts with it, and fundamentally it's the same thing. And this Gayatri mantra, it is given when a person is able to sit and meditate. So like immediately we are not given Gayatri, because he should be able to sit and at least have some level of purity. Then he can start meditating on Gayatri. So this is how previously that was the process in Vedic culture. This is the process: meditate on Gayatri, and then you will be able to attain the perfection. And for us, we do it because we want to worship the deities and maintain the purity. Because Prabhupada here very clearly writing that one must therefore require Brahminical qualities to be perfectly situated in the quality of goodness in order to chant the Gayatri Mantra successfully. And then attain the stage of transcendentally realizing the Lord. This is for Vaikunta. And then other things are revealed. So this is about three. Anybody want to share any comments, thoughts on this? Yes, Muktakesh, Prabhu.
Dandavat Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just want to know like some more thing about this Gayatri mantra. Many time people ask about this. Like so, is it like to come to mode of goodness one needs, or to become pure one needs Gayatri mantra?
Yes, yes, true. For worshipping the deities to develop purity, to maintain, to come to the level of goodness. Because why we chant three times? Because every Sandhya the modes change. So to not to get affected by the modes of nature, we try to chant the Gayatri so that we'll not be affected by the modes when there is a change in Sandhya. We'll always maintain mode of goodness. So that is one of the main reasons that every Sandhya the Gayatri is chanted to maintain that level of consciousness and purity.
So, Prabhuji, just wanted to know like there is something like is the Gayatri mantra is this one, that what people play outside. Om Bhur
Yeah,
Bhuva
same, same, same
Okay.
one.
So it is addressed to whom, Prabhuji? Like because there is already one.
So it is addressed to Surya Narayana. It is Supreme Lord Narayana only.
Okay. Okay. Not demigod, Lord. Not
No,
demigod,
no, not demigod. It is directly Supreme Lord.
Supreme Lord. Okay.
This
Okay.
is Vaikunta. Is this whole Vaikunta is revealed by Gayatri Mantra.
Okay. Mhm. So what is there is one sect here in Maharashtra, I think so. There is Gayatri Parivar.
I don't know much about it. They may be chanting. But
Okay.
this mantras, Prabhu, it will not come like that. If you just take the mantra and read, you will not get it.
Mm-hmm.
Mantras, what happened is there is something called mantra siddhi. Like Guru, he will be chanting that mantra many years. Then he will attain perfection in chanting the mantra. And when
Mm-hmm.
Guru, he chants the mantra in our right ear,
Mm-hmm.
then when the disciple also start practicing it, he will also able to chant the same way the Guru is chanting, and he will also get the same realizations of Guru. How
Mm-hmm.
happened? Because mantra means mantra gives knowledge. When you are chanting mantra, you gain knowledge. And what realization Guru has, the disciple also can get if he is chanting. So when we heard that mantra, slowly we will be able to chant the mantra with the same level of the vibrations. That's how the knowledge is gained, and that's how we get the realizations.
Mm-hmm. So Prabhuji, this is not just sorry to extend the Gayatri mantra is prerequisite. It's required for purification. So can
Ah,
we uh, prerequisite for or like what exactly its role for devotion service? Only for deity worship.
for us, because holy name Hare Krishna Mahamantra is sufficient for us to go to spiritual world, Goloka, for attaining prema. But we have one more important aspect of our devotion is deity worship. And
Okay.
by doing it, we will be able to serve the deities nicely. And then that is also, it complements in our chanting and other things. That's why we go for it.
And I heard that it cannot be spoken by anyone else. Like, is this right?
Because if you, one of the symptoms of Kali Yuga is Gayatri Mantra is spoken loudly, which is having no benefit. These mantras, they should be chanted softly within the mind. Nobody should
Okay.
hear the mantras also, because it will not. That is the reason when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly, they complained. This is Veda mantra and it's chanting loudly. They complained to Kazi. Then Chaitanya
Mm,
Mahaprabhu convinces. So one of their complaint is, how can you chant the mantra so loudly and publicly? But
mm,
Hare Krishna Mahamantra don't have that rule. This is they are namas. They come under the category of nama. But these are mantras. Mantra should be given by Guru. And these bija mantras, Srim, Him, Kli, Maim, they are all actually bija mantras, which if chant loudly will not have, means if you are given in public, it will not have benefit. you need to hear from a person who has perfected the chanting of mantra. Then only you will be able to get benefit out of it.
Yes, yes.
Mother Gail.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. When you were delineating the 4 reasons why we cannot, how should I say, extract knowledge from the Bhagavatam, it has to be revealed to us. Some of those reasons were not so clear to me. Can you just repeat them for me?
Yes, ma'am. So these are 4 reasons that are given by Jiva Goswami. He says that the the fundamental characters of supreme truth, which makes it incomprehensible, is first is it is beyond sense perception. That's why it is Sarvatita. And then we have it is beyond, it is Sarva Ashraya, it is shelter of everything. That is what is absolute truth. And it is inconceivable, Sarva Achintya. And then he says Sarva Ashcharya Swabhava. It is absolutely amazing, mind-blowing.
Okay, wait, I just want to write down. So 1 is beyond sense perception.
Yeah.
I know the last one was amazing. That was the fuzzy one for me. It's amazing.
It is inconceivable and shelter of everything.
Inconceivable and shelter of everything. So
now if something is our shelter and something is inconceivable, something is beyond perception, something is mind-blowing, how can we expect that we'll know it?
yeah, so shelter of everything means how can we know everything? Basically, that means how can we know everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And inconceivable and beyond perception, those 2 almost sound pretty similar. Beyond perception and inconceivable.
Means it is beyond logic. See, something sense perceptions, I cannot see, I cannot hear, I cannot touch. So that's beyond senses. Inconceivable, beyond logic also.
Yeah.
Some things we cannot see with our senses, but logically we can understand. But here, logically also you cannot understand. That is a.
You care to elaborate on amazing? Because the first 3 are amazing.
Yeah, amazing means it delights us, and the depth of it makes us excited in the depth of our heart, and it is like
very full, very relishable by the heart.
Yeah, like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Mataji, can you continue? Okay, we have Muktikesh Prabhu, you have something?
Prabhuji, I felt this was some translation of shloka. This is which shloka? Like what you said there? 4 things.
This is from Jiva Goswami's Tattva Sandarbha. I will see the shloka.
Okay. I said it is Bhagavatam, like Gajendra Singh.
There is I don't know, bro. I
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Mataji, can you read?
But Prabhuji, I still have this question that if I can, you are explaining these 4 fundamental characteristics of absolute truth, and
not fundamental characteristics. These are the reasons what
why we
Jiva
cannot jump to Raj Panchadhyay, right?
which makes completely incomprehensible. Means it is very incomprehensible. So we cannot just jump like that. We have to go very systematically to understand something.
Oh, yeah, to
Something,
understand the
Krishna's this
Supreme
pastime
Lord.
direct. If you, this is absolute truth, na. So if you directly go there, it is not going to make any, you'll not be able to understand anything. But if you go very
That is why
systematically,
it is recommended that we go to not direct jump to 10th canto directly, but we go from first to 10th canto.
yeah,
But then why is it that Srila Prabhupada wrote the Krishna book, and Krishna book we are distributing even to very newcomers also in book distribution marathon and all na, we give Krishna book to everyone, and Krishna book
if
means
you,
these pastimes are there.
yeah, if you just write the the stories from 10th canto, the Krishna book will be maybe 1/4 of what Prabhupada gave. But Prabhupada did not give just Krishna book. He kept all the philosophy from the first chapter onwards. And if you can see the prayers and everything, Prabhupada is very nicely elaborated, and nobody will miss the philosophy anywhere by reading Krishna book also. And I myself, I came to Krishna consciousness by reading Krishna book only. I didn't know anything. I read Krishna book, and Prabhupada is speaking everything. And he says, I spoke in Bhagavad Gita. And any shloka comes, Krishna is telling, I spoke in Bhagavad Gita, this. And Raslila happened, if this past tense of Krishna happened in Goloka, when Krishna even didn't speak Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada tells, Prabhupada writes it. So Prabhupada made sure that all the philosophy is covered. He didn't miss anything in Krishna book. And if you go to the prayers of personified Vedas and all, very clear. And even in Rasa Panchadhyaya also, Prabhupada very clearly, he has so much given time, and he has given so much philosophy in it. So it is not, Prabhupada make sure that you understand properly the philosophy. He just did not tell the story part.
Yeah, we
Prabhupada,
may understand the philosophy, but still, as he mentions in mm, this fifth para, which we just read, that this subject matter is highly spiritual, and only the liberated persons who have gradually attained to the stage of Paramhamsa can transcendentally relish. So
but
actually, still we
what
cannot
happens?
relish.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
after reading Krishna book, we developed faith on Krishna.
Hmm.
And now to understand it more nicely, again we come back, then start read Bhagavad Gita, then systematically go Bhagavatam.
Yes.
So a
Yes.
glimpse
Yes.
of taste is, there is something so
Yeah.
valuable. So once you know
Hmm.
that there is something valuable, again you come to the basics, because I really want to know what it is. I know it is beyond, like it is like a shop is there covered with glasses. I am able to see something, but I don't have access. So I know, okay, I come
Hmm.
back again, start doing sadhana properly so that I'll get access to it one day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually, this Gayatri mantra we discussed about it. Shri Sachinandan Swami Maharaj has written a book on it also, Gayatri,
Yeah.
like that. I have not
I
read
only
it.
read only one page I read where he mentions what time you have to do Gayatri. Apart from that, I also could not read. I had to go through it.
Yeah. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam is the narration of the Swarup of the Lord manifested by his internal potency. And this potency is distinguished from the external potency which has manifested the cosmic world which is within our experience. Srila Vyasdev makes a clear distinction between the two in this shloka. Sri Vyasdev says herein that the manifested internal potency is real, whereas the external manifested energy in the form of material existence is only temporary and illusory, like the mirage in the desert. In the desert mirage, there is no actual water. There is only the appearance of water. Real water is somewhere else. The manifested cosmic creation appears as reality, but reality, of which this is but a shadow, is in the spiritual world. Absolute truth is in the spiritual sky, not the material sky. In the material sky, everything is relative truth. That is to say, one truth depends on something else. The cosmic creation results from interaction of the three modes of nature, and the temporary manifestations are so created as to present an illusion of reality to the bewildered mind of the conditioned soul, who appears in so many species of life, including the higher demigods like Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and so on. In actuality, there is no reality in the manifested world. There appears to be reality, however, because of the true reality which exists in the spiritual world, where the personality of Godhead eternally exists with his transcendental paraphernalia.
So here the narration of Swarupa of the Lord, it is explained how different cantos are different forms. This is by Vallabhacharya. This is how the lotus feet are first, second cantos, and third, fourth cantos are his thighs. And then there is fifth canto, his belly, and sixth and seventh are sixth is chest, seventh and eighth are his arms, and ninth and tenth is the smiling face, and 11th and 12th. So in that way, the cantos are forming the it is the form of the Lord Swarupa. But here, important point, what Prabhupada is telling, that this world is it is after the causal ocean. That means anything in this world has cause and effect, whereas the spiritual world is causeless. That is causeless and this is causal. This has cause and effect. So Prabhupada is telling that there is something which we see that something is always dependent on other things. It's why we are here. There is a reason behind it. So everything has a reason behind it. But whereas spiritual world, it is causeless. There is no reason behind what is happening there. That's why it is a little difficult for us to understand. And another important point proposes, so this is the cosmic creation results from interaction of three modes of nature. That's all. And temporarily manifested are also created to present illusion of reality to the bewildered mind. So, yes, Mother Gail, you want to ask something?
I'm sorry, people, maybe I didn't lower my hand or something.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
know.
okay. Anybody want to share anything on this? Okay, we'll go for the next para.
Actually, Prabhuji, can you just go to this para only?
Yeah.
So, this para actually talks uh, about this part where Prabhupada is saying that actually this material in his translation, Prabhupada is saying that this material world is like a mirage. Means it's unreal, but the spiritual world is real.
Yeah.
So it's like Yatra Shargo Amrisha. That part of that shloka Prabhupada is explaining here in this para. Yatra Shargo Amrisha. Prabhupada is saying that a spiritual world, that is the absolute truth, and that is everything is real there. But here, this material world, it seems real. How as we see mirages, na similarly. So this is the explanation of Prabhupada's this Yatra Sharga Amrisha,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Yeah, and it is also Yatra Shargo Amrisha only. And the previous thing which you explained, this Gayatri mantra. So there can be many Gayatri mantras, I think.
Here it is talking about Brahma Gayatri.
Brahm Gayatri. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is Brahm Gayatri?
Yeah, this everybody you hear in the public radios and
That is Om Bhurbhuva Swaha. But
this
it can be
chanting, this
any
is Brahma.
Gayatri. Na Prabhuji.
Now here it is mentioned clearly, it's Brahma. Of course, here because Dhimahi, the meditation, this is what is spiritual mode is made of.
Dhimahi word signifies Gayatri mantra. That it is a Gayatri mantra.
Yeah. Sham Vallabi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This you told, this explains Trisargo Mrishana. This material world appears to be real, although it is illusion. But that day, day before yesterday, I think you gave a different explanation.
Yeah, yes, Mataji, that is the explanation of Srila Vishnu Thakur. That is, so tomorrow I will make again for Srila Prabhupada's translation. So the first day which I had made, that was for,
Krishna they see as matter, even though he is absolute.
yeah, that is for Srila Vishnu Thakur's translation.
Okay,
So
and this
that is for
one,
his translation, and Prabhupada's translation is little different. So I will make for Prabhupada's translation, Mataji, tomorrow and send in the
okay,
group.
thank you.
So the previous one was for VCT, so little different.
So we have to learn all Mataji, how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says and how Prabhupada says. It becomes
Actually, Mataji, we are attending now Balram Shakti Prabhu's and we are attending Prabhupada's. So since we are studying both, we can understand both ways. Like
okay.
how he is explaining Srila Vishnu Thakur and how Prabhupada is explaining. It's like that because we are doing both the courses now. Prabhupada's also we are studying and him Prabhuji is teaching that also. So both the translations are little different. So we can understand both.
Okay, here Tejovari Mridam Yata Vinimayo Etra Trisargo Mrisha. So it becomes one line here in this one.
I will give Mataji for Prabhupada's tomorrow. I will make and give. Then it will be more clear, Mataji.
Mataji, thank you so much.
Yes, Mataji.
So we have one question in the chat box. What is relative truth? So relative truth means if now anything in this material world, whatever we are taking, now if we say this is bigger than this is big. Big means relative to something else, it is big. And you say he is very smart. Smart means what? Compared to somebody else, he is smart. So anything in this material world we take, it is relative because we compare with some other object. If this is small or big or good or bad, it's all relative. You says, oh, I like. I like means it is relative. So this is what is what we understand in this material. Anything you take, I say I like it so much. Now I may like, tomorrow I'll not like it because it becomes relative for me. So that's why this is all. But absolute means it is always, it will never change. It is not compared. It is how it is, beyond our logic, incomprehensible. Clear, Prabhu? Yeah. So clear, Mataji. Okay. So Mother Gail, you have something?
I don't know. Oh,
Okay.
Prabhu, I don't know why. I don't know why it seems like maybe I'm unmuting by accident. I don't know.
Okay. No, Mataji. Your hand is raised, so that's why I thought you want to share something. So okay, we will try to go little more, but today we are running out of time. So thank you all very much. We'll continue our discussion tomorrow. And one important thing I want to tell that this is how anybody, they have to sit every day and hear Bhagavatam. If we are not doing now, maybe in future when we want to become more serious, then we have to do it. That means we cannot escape this process of sitting and hearing Bhagavatam. So if we are doing it now, and that means this is the right thing we are doing. And if future, when we think no, in future I'll become serious, that time again we have to sit. But now we have an opportunity and we have very nice like-minded devotees. So we'll take this opportunity and make sure that we every day sit and hear Bhagavatam. And there is no escape like this. Like, no, there is no shortcut. Anybody want to do sadhana Bhagavatam, they have to sit every day. Not weekly once, weekly twice. No. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So we have this opportunity. So we will take advantage. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.